Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to Billy Go's Prophetic Vessel. It's your girl Billy Go, and we got a message for you. All right, welcome to your Capricorn and Chosen One channel. All right, I command in God's name, entities, parasites, evil monitoring spirits, messages, aliens, grays, reptilians, return back to sinners, place of good, according to God, Yahweh, Yeshua Christ, will, uncloak, uncontaminated, and cover my soul, and thank you. I command in God's name that the code that fly protocol is activated over my auric field, according to God, Yahweh, Yeshua Christ, will, uncloak, uncontaminated, and cover my soul, is. I could probably use a cloak too. Okay. I'm gonna start off with these. All right, let's get into your timeless message, my Capricorns and chosen ones. I hope you've been doing well, y'all. This spiritual world war 3, boy, baby, we've been overcoming shit, honey. We've been overcoming some bullshit, you know. Did y'all catch the news? They caught either the spaceship, or they were basically the mantis aliens, the grays, the Nordics too, and what do you call them? I say them all the time, the reptilians. They got, and those aren't the only ones, those are some of many. They were caught, they made the mainstream news, basically, is what I'm saying. They made the mainstream news. They were trying to be discreet. And just to let you know, not all reptilians, not all Nordics, not all mantis aliens, not all grays are horrible, right? Just like not all humans, right, are horrible. Some are actually good. They may be far few and in between, though we good people exist, right? Spiritual beings having a humanistic experience. Spiritual beings having a humanistic experience, meaning spiritual beings being a galactic being, meaning alien, right? So some of you guys that are watching me, you're gray. Some of you guys that are watching me, you're Nordic incarnated, right? Like, some of you guys watching me could be a reptilian, and you're not evil. You may have some like reptilian residue that you may be aware of, or not. But some of you guys are evil. Some of you guys are. You're right. So I say that to say that it's no secret. Nobody can hide anymore. People can talk about this freely, right? So just be mindful, because they've been attacking people. They've been going to people's houses. They've been putting demonic booby traps around and inside the homes to keep track, and sensory devices and so on and so forth. You guys, you have to be mindful. I hear their spaceships all the time, which you have. They cloak their spaceships when they're riding in them. They cloak their spaceships when they land on top of your house as well, the roof. I'll hear like the house vibrating. I'll hear the spaceship coming in, and it's different noises that it makes. Look at that. We have roam free. So some of you guys could be hearing this, but maybe you're like, oh, no, that's not what I'm hearing. No, that's exactly what you're hearing. Do not gaslight yourself. All right. All these things that they didn't want us to know, all these things that they gaslit us for lifetimes, it's now coming out. It's now making the mainstream news. Love your love your untamed and wild side. Follow your instincts and trust your inner voice. All right. So we have love always. So some of you guys, your sticky situation. So roaming free. So I was getting like messages. They don't want people on earth to be able to have freedom. We have vulnerability, because they need you to be vulnerable. They need you to be like a mouse. They need you to be in bad situations because that's how they feed, that's how they eat, right? Like, I was just getting a whole lot of downloads and messages for the collective, like, just, you know, so like our planet, like planet Earth, you know, there's several different, there's different planets, of course, in the solar system. There's planets that people don't even know exist in the solar system. There's other life forms though, like it's more than just Earth, it's more than just planets, is what I'm saying, that has life forces in the galactic realms. And because of that, um Earth is one of the easiest planets in a sense, and one of the most potent in a sense, because of what happened, how Earth was like taken away in a sense. Now of course you can't take Earth away from God. God created it. In terms of taking the rights from you know how, okay, you know how they say Lucifer somehow was able to gain the earth from Adam because it was given to Adam. And then Jesus, Yeshua the Christ, that came back and took back ownership of the earth, right? Well, he did do that, right? Like that part is done. But there's a couple things going on. They're not honoring that. They don't care. They're not honoring the fact that, hey, this debt has been paid, you have to give it up. They don't give a fuck because they feel like that this is their way and means of being able to eat and have some place to lay their head, necessities and shit like that. So what they did was they started to partner. When I say they, I'm talking about like the dark galactic beings, the archons, the reptilians, the different dark galactic beings that wanted to harvest off of this planet so that they could gain more power, gain more control, gain world domination, not just over the world, but I was getting over the galaxy, galactic, right? Because we're spiritual beings having a humanistic experience. So galactic wise is more so real life for us than this simulation is. And so it's still important, especially when like us Anunnaki came here for like support and was also trying to be of support to those here. There was just, it was a lot of destruction that was that happened in between there. And no, not all Anunnaki is nice and not all Anunnaki is bad, but just to give you some background, so now that Earth's rights are totally being revamped. So everything, the whole system is basically demonic, and this is for entertainment purposes. All right, this is for entertainment purposes, free will based beliefs. All right, so when it comes to like having a social security number, you being born in a hospital, and I know you're like, a hospital is supposed to be, it would be healing if they didn't hijack this shit. You have to understand these dark galactic beings came in contact with the people who were in powerful positions over time, right? In different organizations that's supposed to be running different cities, states, countries. They made different deals in cahoots. That's why they tried to keep this away from us for so long. Again, this is for entertainment purposes. And so because they tried to keep this away from us so long, and they gaslit us so much, we're coming out with the truth. They're losing control. They're losing control over planet Earth. because people are waking up. People are waking up to the truth. They are starting to take their power back. When people start taking their power back, that leaves less food, less negative energy for them to consume. That's why the negative energies, the dark beings, and the entities collaborate, and they try to come. Now, some of these things God did create. Some of these plagues, like, allow them to happen, right? Like the Book of Revelations, and God allowed angels, but right, but not all these plagues were created by God, and not all these plagues were distributed by God. No, a lot of the other ones were diseases, um started galactically, and also these dark galactic beings were able to clairaudiently, claircognizantly, clairvoyantly uh communicate to those who were having humanistic experiences that were dark in nature, willing to do dark things, right? So we got these laboratories in the spiritual realm, in the physical realm, where they started to do all of these different experiments, if you will, right? And none good. None good. And this is where because everything that they started to do, they started to think about, well, how can we take more control? How can we just take over this planet and have it as our own permanently, right? So this is where they started to come up with, again, this is for entertainment purposes, this is where they started to uh take the nutrients out the food by spraying it with all these chemicals and stuff, even the good, even the healthy foods, right? um Putting chemicals in medication that we're not supposed to be taking and can't pronounce, right? um Taking the nutrients out the soil, right? And all of these things, take shortening our lifespan, so that do you know the Anunnaki is supposed to be able to have a lifespan of over 250,000 years, and yet we're struggling to live to 100? But because, and no, not everybody is Anunnaki, but I can guarantee that everybody's lifespan is supposed to be over at least 1,000 years. No matter what realm you come from, we're galactic beings having a humanistic experience, for heaven's sake, right? But when you don't know that, when you don't have concrete information, when they constantly gaslighting you with what they want you to know instead of the truth, this is where we are. Chaos, conflict, and confusion. And God is nowhere near the author of confusion. You already know who the author of that is. And what's happening is that they're scared, they're fearful, because they're fearful of basically God taking back the earth. um and I'm also kind of hearing like certain planets, certain energies that have been harvesting off of us, right? Like they need the population to be fearful. They need the population to constantly be crying. They need the constantly the collective to be sad and suffering and all that, because they're eating off of us. With them eating off of us like that, harvesting the energy of us being stressed out, overworked, underpaid, feeling unheard, misunderstood, constantly in survival mode. That's food for them. And that's been shortening our lifespan while they sitting up here feasting off our shit. Can you imagine having a 200,000, 250K lifespan and only being able to live to 100 and struggling at that? Do you know how much lifespan that's shaved off? And motherfuckers all talking about you only live once. See, that's that shit. We don't only live once. We don't. They lied to you. Now, we're not necessarily supposed to be in a reincarnated loop per se. We can reincarnate. It's supposed to be a choice, not an automatic decision, because a motherfucker wanted to come up with a demonic system to keep relooping people so you can keep eating. That's greedy. And it's taking away the free will of the people and the souls. And then they want to bully you when you speak up about talking the truth. But y'all, let me tell you, they spiritually raped me. They tried to put my cards on fire. They tried to attack everything in my life because I speak up and I tell y'all the truth. They tried to take a job away from me. They stalk me everywhere I go, the stores, when I'm driving, right? Who I'm messaging my phone. They spiritually hijack my phone, bro. They make it so I can't be around anybody in the physical realm. And I know that's not going to be forever. But I just want to let you know how serious this is. All right? Because everybody has to take their power back. The only reason these dark beings even have power is because they took it from us. They took it from us. There is strength in numbers. Exploration. Seek clarity and find your way even in challenging times of uncertainty. We are in the ending times. This is a timeless message. So hopefully if you're watching this years from now, 2030, 3030, 4030, hopefully this is over. Well, hopefully this is giving you some history then as far as context of what happened. Because this is being recorded in May 2026. All right. This is about boundaries. It's like they had no boundaries over it's like I heard they tried to take planet claims. When you do not have a connection to source, like a connection to God, Yahweh, Yeshua Christ, unquote, because I mean, a compromise. I'm not talking about a fake God. I'm not talking about a self-proclaimed God. I'm talking about the real source. And you know it's the real source because can't nobody give you what God can. They may be able to give a replica, but it's not what God can give you. And that's what this is here. They sitting up here, y'all. I literally saw a video of them trying to grow a human baby in a lab. You trying to recreate what God did. Like what? No, that's not okay. It's like, thank you, it's like they trying to be God. They trying to be God. They trying to be God. They trying to be God and do what God does without having to go to God for it and for it to be done. It's definitely giving how Lucifer wanted to be God and wanted to take God's place in heaven, but God was like, no, and he gathered other angels who felt the same or similar as him, and they fell from heaven. And so ever since then, he's been trying to be his version of God the Father, right? Ever since then. But ever since then, it's these fucked up ass systems because, I always wondered, I was like, God, how come they look like that? Like, how come? Because, God created those angels. Don't forget. Those demons, we're not talking about galactic dark beings. Those demons were once archangels. Okay? They were once in heaven. All the ones, the Leviathan, once upon a time, they were once all in heaven. They were all working for God the Father, creator of heaven and earth. They were once upon a time all a part of glory. They didn't have to steal shit because they were already in heaven. They already had connection to source. Lucifer already had connection to source. He already had it, including the angels that fell with him. So I asked God, I said, God, how come they look like that? Like, how come Like they were so beautiful, gorgeous. What Lucifer was one of his most beautiful ones, right? Yeah, I asked God, well, what happened? And so basically, what was told to me, and according to the Akashic records, um, librarian here, Akashic record librarian here, um, basically what happened was is that when you have a disconnection to source, there are certain things that happen. Um, you lose your glow, like your divine glow. Y'all remember that movie Hercules, the animation? How when he was drinking that potion, he lost everything except his strength, including his glow. His y'all remember Zeus and them? How every time when they cut scenes to, I don't know what you want to call that, Zeus and them, it showed everybody's glow, right? But he didn't have his until the end of the movie. He got it back. But it's the principle. Who wants to go through all that? Well, you lose your glow, you lose your looks, you lose your thank you, Holy Spirit. I heard your divine gifts. You lose your ability to you basically lose your we're extensions of God, right? We're able to do, I'll say, a majority of things that God is able to do on a certain spectrum, right? Because there's things where God just have to do for us alone, right? We just can't do it. We don't necessarily have to steal for shit. God can bless us. So because they did what they did, they lost that connection. I learned something new, that there was an angel that basically repented and he earned his wings back. You might as well just say that he earned his wings back. What was that? It was one of them. But they didn't. Nobody else did. None of them did. So I don't want to say Archangel Sariel didn't have to go through anything. He didn't have to go through as nearly as what they have to go through now. They don't want to call. They don't. So coming back, right? They've had to steal for everything, right? They've had to steal divine gifts, food. They have to steal different shit that they used to get automatically when they were connected to God. But because they could not go back, Lucifer can't go back. I'm not exactly sure about the other ones. And so with that being said, it's like sorry y'all, the demons got a better chance to get back in heaven than Lucifer does. They would have, but they don't. I don't want to say all of them. Majority of them, including the dark galactic beings, they don't want to serve the karmic debt, so that they don't have to steal anymore. Because that's basically what the Holy Spirit said that they have to do. If you want to be free, you have to serve your karmic debt. If you want shit from me, i.e. God, right? You have to serve your karmic debt, which means lifetimes upon lifetimes upon centuries worth of shit you have to pay back, right? So they don't want to do that. So just letting you know, because they don't want to do that, they're throwing a fit. Their planets are dying, their caves are caving in, they're running out of resources, they're scavenging. These are all the things that I'm hearing. They're scavenging, and so they're looking at God's kids as being food. I'm hearing as being little saviors, like little anchors or some shit. Um, so they're trying to attach themselves to you so that they can have some type of generator. But bitch, we ain't no motherfucking generator. Right? Like, and God is seeing this. God is saying, and then I'm here, and then God want me to say this too. They're bullying you when you don't do what they want you to do. All right. So, like, for example, if they stole my energy, I take my energy right back. And then they try to do something to me as like, how dare you take your energy back? It's my energy. The fuck? I'm gonna take my shit back because it's mine. But they're entitled. They're entitled, right? They don't care if it's yours. They steal. So they feel like, oh, well, I want to steal, so I'm gonna still take it, and I'm still gonna try to bully you because we don't want you here because we're trying to ruin the world and you're trying to help it. Because again, they benefit from the world being in chaos and conflict because that's what they feed off of. That's what they live off of. Us light workers need the world to be in high vibration. They don't like high vibration shit, right? We need the world to be and have systems that is made for light workers, right? Because I mean, truth be told, if our souls literally came here to have an experience, we didn't come here to die. We didn't come here to keep going through situations and circumstances that feel like death. I mean, that defeats the purpose of even having our soul, even wanting to have an experience, right? So this is another part of the reason why this has to be done. We have to fix this because it defeats the purpose of us even having an experience. If it's just going to be and feel like death, it's no reason to come here or anywhere for that matter, because Earth is not the only planet that they've been targeting, unfortunately. Earth is not the only planet that's been infected with this fucking plague of a virus that the dark side has lost control over. So you guys, primal instincts, you've been in survival mode. Keep your boundaries up. Keep moving in silence, okay? If you feel vulnerable, keep praying for protection, keep praying for guidance. And when you call on God, when you call on the angels, make sure you say, angels of love and light, uncloaked, uncontaminated, uncompromised. And make sure you say, God Yahweh, Yeshua the Christ, uncloaked, uncontaminated, uncompromised. Why? Because of the shit that they've been doing in the spiritual realm. They've been cloaking as the angels. They've been cloaking as Archangel Michael. They've been cloaking as Archangel Gabriel, Raphael, Ariel, Uriel. They've been cloaking as all of the 9 species of angels in false light. So imagine a demon put on a blanket, a cloth over them, and it's a cloak of Archangel Metatron. Oh, hey, Archangel Metatron. And then you look at their feet. That's not Archangel Metatron, right? Well, some of them are master manipulators. So there's life and death in the power of the tongue. Use your voice. Some of you guys already have the authority and you don't know it yet. All right, I was already ranked up and didn't even know it until some time ago. Use your voice, right? I'm gonna stop there when it comes to what I was about to say. But make sure you say of love and light and uncloaked, uncontaminated, uncompromised, because they have a voice box that sounds just like God. So you'll hear clairaudiently, you'll hear God's voice, like, oh, that sounds like God, and it will sound like God. But just like, let's say, you let's say somebody takes a singer's voice from the radio and puts it in a AI system. Somebody may say, oh, that sounds like such and such. That's such and such. No, that's such and such voice. That's not such and such. So that's God's voice that you hear. That's not God. That's a demon or a dark galactic being that recorded God's voice. Put it in a implant voice box. Put the implant in you and them so that when they talk to you, you hear God's voice. But it's not God. All right. So this is just to let you know the different tricks of the trade that they do to try to trick you into different demonic agreements and contracts and attacks and shit. Because ain't nobody got time for that when you trying to heal. But when you're dealing with energies that's not trying to heal, this is what we got. All right. So yeah, I feel like you guys are becoming free. Like God is gonna make some shit shake. Y'all remember that story in the Bible where these God's anointed was wrongfully put in like these cells, and God shook the earth for some shit, and all the cells were broken open and stuff like that, and they was able to get out. Right? It was a miracle. God performed a miracle. So some sort of miracle is getting ready to happen or some shit. If it hasn't happened to you already, all right. This could be past, present, future information for you. Take what resonates, with the rest behind. But whatever you do, whenever this miracle happens, make sure you keep your boundaries up. Make sure you keep moving in silence. Make sure you know that we are overcoming not just a physical World War III, right? With this back and forth, but we're also overcoming a spiritual World 3. As above, so below. As within, so without. All right, guys. So this is where your current events. Thank you all for your love and support here. To truly appreciate it. And always remember, you make your own decisions. Peace out. Deuces.